Pisces, you're waking up from that slumber, that sleep. If you feel like you've been in like a fog or in hermit mode, or even just like going through the motions, you've just been, numbing all the time. This is a good time for you to really go for it. Hi Pisces, Bailey B hanging out for another intuitive reading to help you explore your subconscious and see what's going on. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. I intend for this reading to give you something fascinating to think about. And I hope you can use that information to lead you to more safety and more fulfillment. I'd like you to check in with your own intuition and see what feels true for you about the reading, and only pick up what's resonating with you. Today I have the Cosma Visions Oracle deck by James R. Eads, and I have the Spirit Animal deck. Sorry, that's last time I didn't do that. Smoked forever and didn't want it to keep doing that. Okay, so we have the Spirit Animal deck by Krans, Wild Unknown, and then the Cosma Visions Oracle deck by James R. Eads, and a regular Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck. So let's start out your reading with a spirit animal card. I feel like there's a lot of spirit animal energy going around. I've been feeling really connected to nature lately, and I don't know what Pisces spirit animal is right now that we're learning from. The oyster. Interesting. All right, so the oyster energy talks about a patient secret keeper and hiding inner treasures. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. Pisces. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. Wow. Honestly, Pisces, I feel like this is so relevant for us right now. I've been wondering myself, what is it that I need to be sharing with the world more about me and my inner self? There's a lot of talent and wisdom that you have, Pisces, and I think sometimes we're a little shy to share it because we feel like we don't want to over police other people, and also we know how much it's taken us to earn all of our wisdom and strength, and sometimes people will kind of deny those things if we put ourselves out there. It leaves us open for criticism, even if it's unwarranted criticism, if that makes sense. So I feel you there, Pisces. I understand what it's like to not really feel like you're shining or sharing with the world, but it's very important right now that we have people like us to be opening up and sharing our experiences, etc. So I'm really vibing with this card right now. All right, what other cards do we need here for Pisces? Let's get 3 for Pisces energy from this oracle deck. We have the Vessel. Those two are so similar, that's crazy. What else for Pisces right now? The Pathfinder, amazing. One more energy for Pisces. The Composer, y'all, this is a lot of amazing energy. And then you have this Shapeshifter card on the back of the deck. So I absolutely love this deck. I think the illustrations are so gorgeous. I don't have it memorized as well as the traditional deck, so I'm going to read these. Straighten this up just a little bit more. All right, so the vessel here is number 15, and the mirror card is the devil. So the most beautiful vessels can sometimes contain the most tragic stories. As humans, we all have problems that we don't show on the surface. We fill ourselves with the things that distract us from reality. The vessel is much like a mask. It hides what is truly underneath. If this card has shown up, it's time to rein in your demons. Don't let materialism, addictions, or obsessions of this world cloud your brilliant light. It can be all too easy to get wrapped up in success that you start to lose touch with your soul. Even when the terrible is swallowing you whole, this is still a light found in others. There is still a light found in others. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Wow. We talked a lot about this last reading, asking for help. But there's still like this point here about you having something inside that people aren't seeing on the outside, that you're not showing to others. So that's really interesting to me. Then we have the Pathfinder here, which mirrors the Page of Pentacles, which is really interesting. Ambition, diligence, achiever. The Pathfinder is someone who always reaches their goals and are straight to the point. There is no time for games, their eye is on the prize. This can be good in a reading, especially when you're unsure about an outcome of an event. Don't spend any more time worrying about it. This victory will be a gift from the universe, so be diligent and ambitious with your plans. If you follow the boldness of the Pathfinder, you will achieve greatness. So, wow, this is typically boldness is not a word I associate with the Page of Pentacles, but this is very inspiring to me. This talks about really finally being able to embody what we know about ourselves and accept that we are going to be successful, and we will be successful because of our innate ability to persevere and pull through. Pisces, we really do have that strength and grit to stay the course and come out the other side successful. All right, and then we have the Composer. Playful, harmonious, and youthful. The Page of Chalices or the Page of Cups is the mirror card here. So we have two page energies, which is very playful, youthful. I guess that's where maybe the boldness can come from as well. The boldness of youth. It says, the Composer is a card of great synchronicity. Much like the Three of Lotuses, this card speaks directly to the inner harmony in all things. But here you are taking part in its oneness, generating a conscious stream of harmony. When you pull this card in a reading, it can be a strong sign that things are well aligned for you, and that much of this is because of your own doing. Continue on the path that you are on, and the world around you will fall into place. So, wow. Pisces, this is really encouraging. I think, it's been a while since we've had this much energy just being like, you have something special in you. Keep going, keep going, keep going, because you have something special in you to share. And I want to talk about what's hidden on the back of this deck. It's the Shapeshifter. I think this energy is really different and interesting. This is Knight of Wands energy. They are beloved, malleable, and favorable. That's kind of what I was referencing in my head. It's like the Shapeshifter is everything to everyone, and I know we try to do that sometimes, but it's best when we don't act out of that. We all want to be like the Shapeshifter, well-liked, adaptable, and beloved, but when it shows itself in a reading, it suggests that you have the capabilities to take on the aspects of this character. We all want to be like the Shapeshifter, well-liked, adaptable, and beloved. When it shows itself in a reading, it suggests that you have the capabilities to take on the aspects of this character, but the Shapeshifter may ask for you to be more malleable. If something is not panning out the way you expected, try to see the benefits of the opposing side. Maybe there's a reason a different path has been chosen. Learn this from the Shapeshifter. They can be two things at once and can appease oppositions. So I guess really here what we're seeing is a warning or a piece of advice to not be too strict and adherent to what we think is the way or the path, even though we know here we'll be successful and there is something inside of us that we need to get out. I believe that what we're being asked is to be open-minded to how that will come to express itself. There might be something here that you're not expecting to happen that's actually going to be really good for you moving forward. So let's get out some other cards here. What is a clarifier for this vessel energy? The King of Cups. Super interesting because here is another vessel. Cups are vessels, right? So this is about what you're holding inside. The feelings maybe that you're not exposing to the world. This might be something that you've kept bottled up for your self-protection in the past, which is totally legit means of self-protection. But I think it might be kind of stopping you from really becoming an expert in how to deal with your emotions, use them as tools, and respect them as messages from inside of your vessel, right? Like the vessel of the body. So if you feel like you've been putting on this mask to the outside world, I think this is a call to show up and start being honest about your emotions, whether that's sadness, anger, happiness, joy, disgust. All those kinds of things are telling us something. I'm not saying go out and be angry or disgusted with others in front of them, but it's natural to have these emotions inside of us. And when we understand what those emotions are trying to tell us about the world and how we're interacting with it, they become tools for us to make better decisions about how we can feel better, right? They're not just things to be shoved away or stuffed inside or even put out at all, right? They're very important communication mechanisms for us between our body and our mind. And it's, I think, something that a lot of people really take for granted is being able to openly express how we really feel and take responsibility for our own feelings as well. And that actually really disarms people. There's a way of speaking where you can address people and talk about what your preferences and what your needs and wants are. And a lot of times people are like, oh, that's so selfish, or oh, that's so codependent, or whatever. And I think we completely misunderstand this concept. When we're honest about who we are and how we feel about things, then we let people know how to best treat us and how to best love us. And sometimes that can cause a little bit of waves or conflict in the beginning when we're starting out, because people aren't used to this kind of direct communication about feelings, especially in our culture. But it is the most mature thing that you can do, and the most respectful and loving thing that you can do is be open to the people around you about how they can treat you best and how you feel about certain things. So again, I know this is really difficult, but I'm seeing you here transforming this from a mask you're wearing into really taking that mask off and letting other people see what is inside this vessel that you're carrying. And either people are going to receive it well or they're not. And then that's good information too. You know who can't handle you being honest about yourself. And those are people that you don't need to be around as much because they can't digest that you have feelings and needs that might be different than theirs. And that's toxic, right? We want to be able to have these reciprocal relationships where we can have our own feelings, our own needs, and they're people that we are with help meet those needs if we need help, right? And vice versa, obviously. All right, so what is this Pathfinder energy? It seems very dedicated. The Knight of Swords, interesting. So we have the Knight of Wands here and the Knight of Swords, Page and Knight energy coming out. This is definitely something that's quick moving. If you see, they're both in this running stance, or this movement stance. This almost looks like they're queuing up, but this Knight of Swords is somebody who is extremely focused on their goal and stopping at nothing to get it. I think the difference between the energy of this Knight of Swords and the energy of the Pathfinder is the Knight of Swords is all mental. This is like running your mind till it's almost like run into the ground. Whereas the Pathfinder is about taking the things that you have in your material world and putting them to good use. So you're actually taking steps in the 3D. And I think that's the difference between, you know, this card is associated with anxiety down here with all this mental energy. And the Pathfinder is associated with a new chance at growth, a new beginning for finances. So the difference here, like I was saying, is that the Pathfinder is using action and 3D steps, using his body and his mind and actually taking action, so that when he looks at whatever he's stressed about, he feels like he's actually accomplishing something, versus like it just all being in your head. You kind of get stuck there and you feel like you can't make forward progress, and that tends to lead to stress and anxiety. So like I said, if we can hone in on taking these steps in the real world, then we can avoid overthinking and then having, as a consequence, a lot of bad feelings, right? So take action and don't overthink it, basically. All right, and last we have the Composer. What is another clarifying energy for this Composer for Pisces? The Two of Swords. And yeah, okay. Double confirmation, the devil on the back of the deck. Again, this is about materialism, about being stuck when you're comfortable, almost like not laziness per se, but what people think laziness is, where it's like you're just stuck in quicksand and you feel like you can't really get out. Yeah, this is another kind of mask we put on or tell ourselves, like, we can't do this, we can't do that. And it's not that we can't, it's that it's more comfortable to not do it. But in the long run, when we look at like over time and in the future, we're going to look back and think, wow, I had all that time to change things. I should have gone outside of my comfort zone and taken like the initial uncomfortability to actually improve all the days after that. So I see you making this choice here, and I hope that you can feel comfortable around certain people in your life to take off this mask and take off these chains here, associated with Devil card, and get your energy back up and out there by taking these material steps without sinking in this sort of world of just running your mind ragged without actually taking these steps. The Magician here is telling us that we absolutely can do this. Eight of Pentacles. You're so capable, Pisces, and you have so much ability to manifest things into the real world that you know that these chains that you're feeling right now are things that you can take off. You just have to choose to get out of your head, acknowledge your feelings, and start taking steps forward in the material world to do what you need to do. You might feel like here with this shapeshifter, this Composer energy with the Two of Swords, that you're not quite sure what the future is going to look like. You might feel a little bit blindfolded and you're having to make choices probably from your intuition more than anything right now. And you could feel like you're kind of in between, like you're having to hold this balance. And I think what this message is with the Composer is that things are really working out for you. Everything is aligning just as it's supposed to. And as you're painstakingly holding up these two swords with your blindfold on, and you're moving through and making choices and doing things in your 3D world, things are going to start popping into place for you. You have achieved this sort of inner harmony that's repeated here with the Composer and then the Two of Swords. A balance, a peace in the difficult times. This is something that not everyone has learned to master, but because you have mastered this, and because you've been practicing this balance and this discipline kind of self-care, and being able to continue to hold the difficult things as you're moving through and you're staying solid internally, because like I said, you've done all this work, things are going to start aligning for you much more. Things are going to be in harmony and start to feel like they're really flowing. And you can really start to make these confident decisions from your intuition rather than having to like see all the facts, information, and details. You might feel like you're a lot more in flow and able to kind of go from one thing to another more and more quickly, make better decisions, and be more confident about those decisions more quickly than you had been able to in the past. I think it's because you've accessed this ability to use your emotions as a tool, as information, very valuable information, to help you make these decisions in your world and create this sort of flow and harmony. Now, with the swords energy, I do understand that there's a lot of thinking, a lot of worrying maybe, and just a lot of mental energy going into this time for you, but I don't see it here ending in anything negative. I'm seeing it being kind of a good balance here between planning and action, between feelings and logic, and also just being able to be flexible here with the shapeshifter energy and go with the flow so that you can allow the universe to kind of put everything in alignment or line up for you in the way that energy and patterns turn up, you know, when we're really in alignment with like the vibration and the harmony of the rest of the world. So, like I said earlier, I know you've been doing so much internal work lately, Pisces, and this is just more and more proof over these readings that it's working for you, that you've become this more balanced person who's able to embrace their emotions and make really wise decisions about what steps they're taking to move forward. And somebody who you're becoming somebody who is learning how to live in flow and take off these chains because they're not real. The devil energy doesn't represent like, you know, natural disasters that you couldn't have prevented and they're just terrible all around. The devil energy is like you're convinced that you're not a people person when actually people love you. It's just that you might need a lot more alone time than others. And so when you start to take care of your own needs and you start to take off the chains of like should or I used to be or whatever it is that's sort of keeping you stuck in the same place, then you can really let your natural self shine and also take care of your own needs while still being more flexible than you used to be in the past when you would say like, oh, I can't do this or I'm not that or whatever it is. So all in all, I'm seeing a lot of growth and harmony here for you coming forward, Pisces. Let's get a few cards of advice to end the reading. There's some advice here for Pisces. Whew. The Wheel of Fortune is turning. The Eight of Swords, you're letting go, kind of like in that devil energy we were just talking about. And the Three of Wands. Again, we got that last reading with the Judgment card on the back of the deck. So, Pisces, the Wheel of Fortune is turning for you. I think we got this last reading too. This is you really changing, really manifesting a different outcome for your future than you've had in the past. This is you being in flow and being able to flow with life's ups and downs more naturally. This is kind of amazing to me because we were just talking about taking off the chains that aren't really locked. In this Eight of Swords, this woman is tied up here, but they're very loosely tied. She's got swords around her where she could cut herself free. She could take her blindfold off and she could walk away. But so far she's felt too scared to do so, which is totally normal. It looks like something horrible has happened to her here. But at some point, it's time to look around and say, oh, I'm safer than I was before. I'm capable of making these small steps forward in my 3D world, such as taking a few steps behind me. cutting this rope off of my arms, presumably, taking my blindfold off. And these are all steps that take a while. It doesn't just like happen overnight. As you well know, Pisces, you've been working on all of these little steps to set yourself free. And I do believe that there's going to be a breakthrough here, if it hasn't already happened, very soon, about how you're going to feel more free to express your real self, and you're going to be more able to go with the flow of life when you start to do that. It is very scary, because obviously in the past you've had a lot of crappy things done to you. A lot of people haven't believed you or haven't listened to you, haven't cared about your emotions. But now those people are gone out of your life, or they should be, or they're going to be soon, because you're making a decision that you want to live in this emotionally peaceful place. You want to live in flow. You don't need to be out here tied up with all these swords around you. This is you. You're here focusing on Zen and balance and skill and holding up your life in a way that makes you stronger, more happy, and more prosperous. So yeah, I'm just seeing lots of change for you here, Pisces. The Wheel of Fortune is turning. Three of Wands is you continuing to make plans, continuing to move forward. Like we talked about last reading, all of this planning and putting things out there, it does take a village. It takes people to collaborate with. So maybe that's why the shapeshifter energy is here for you as well, as kind of a reminder to stay flexible, stay as gracious with other people as you would like them to be with you. And by gracious, I mean, not holding them to the strictest of standards and always needing perfection. A lot of times just softening a little bit can help us get along with others, and trying a little bit more to understand where they're coming from and why they're not bringing to the table what you expected them to. It's not about our expectations of others, right? It's about what we can appreciate about what they're willing to bring to the table. So I think along with a little bit of this shapeshifter energy and this Three of Wands energy, you're really going to be making progress here in the future, moving forward with your plans, moving forward with this new adventure of life, and in a whole new way, to where you're actually taking off the mask. You're showing people this treasure that's inside of you that, may have come from sand, like with the oyster. It's like that little bit of irritant that gets wrapped up and healed over and coated to keep the oyster safe inside. That becomes the treasure. And when we transform those little irritants within us into, and we soothe them over, we coat them, we tend to them, we care for them, we acknowledge that they're there and put this precious substance over the top of them. They never go away, right? Like, you're not going to make it disappear, but you can transform it into something very valuable, very precious, very beautiful that is inside of you, because you have gone through this negative thing. And that is our prize for enduring things in our life, is that we become more wise. We gain these pearls of wisdom, right, from these irritants that we have experienced. And we grow so much stronger and so much better in our communities for it as well. So again, here's you waking up, Pisces. You're waking up from that slumber, that sleep. If you feel like you've been in like a fog or in hermit mode, or even just like going through the motions, you've just been numbing all the time, this is a good time for you to really go for it. Wake up and have a little bit of it's probably way more comfortable to be lying there in that casket, not having to like be out in the cold and the wind and all the water getting wet, but it is being alive, right? You don't want to be dead. You want to be alive. And sometimes being alive means sensing and having uncomfortable sensations. But like I said, it all leads to something better, a treasure that we can share with the world. And I can't wait to see what your treasures are, Pisces. If you guys are working on something, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I love to hear what you guys are up to and what kind of exciting things you're working on. What is the pearl that you're trying to express to the world right now. I'd also love a like. If you want to press the like button, it really helps me get this out to more people. And I'm still trying to push through to my first 1,000 subscribers. It's been kind of crazy. Like, since October, the viewership has been really different. I was getting a lot of views May, June, July, August, September. October were huge. And then, I don't know, over the holidays, things just kind of tanked. So if you've been watching me and you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate you as a subscriber. It's going to help me actually be able to support this financially. I'm doing this right now for no pay, and it's, at no cost to y'all. I'm doing a lot of work on a weekly basis, getting these readings out to you every other day. So I would really super appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and help me grow, help support me in that way, and leave a comment if you can. I'd love to hear from y'all. So I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, Pisces. And as always, I hope you live long and prosper.